Warning. The following podcast is utter nonsense and may cause agoraphobia, kleptomania, insomnia, and oppositional defiance disorder. We are required by law to provide you with this disclaimer for hazardous materials.
And welcome back to Hazardous Materials, last week's comics this week, wherein we talk about last week's comics this week.
And at the end, we throw in some pop culture news related to comic books because, like comic book stores, we can't just focus on comics.
Nope. My name's Casey Johnson. With me, as always,
Gideon Gonzalez.
So we got a little bit of old stuff because last week we threw in a special because we decided to stay home.
And there wasn't a ton of noteworthy books last week. And also there were no X books, which leaves a big chunk of our show out.
So what we're talking about is last week was not newsworthy.
But there was one great book that I really want to talk about. Venom: The End by Adam Warren and Chamba. It is, oh my God. So premise of the book. So Marvel's bring back the End line, which was from the early 2000s, where they would show heroes at like the end of their life.
Right.
So there was like a Fantastic Four one. There was an amazing Peter David, Dale Keown, Incredible Hulk, The End. Chris Claremont wrote like 12 or 18 issues of X-Men.
Yeah,
The
I
End.
wondered about that. And I was like, man, this is going to keep going and going for the X-Men.
Wolverine: The End, which I really dug and actually think is better than Old Man Logan. That's my hot take of the week.
I will back that up.
So they're bringing him back, and we're starting off with Venom: The End, which sees Venom as the last organic life in the universe.
Of course.
And he has perpetuated himself against the technocracy, which is spreading through and annihilating life, by using the X-Men's resurrection protocols from Hawks and Pox and back using their DNA to create hosts that he needs for every situation. So he can create storms and possess them to like bring plants and make life. Most importantly, he possesses Jamie Madrox. He creates a Jamie Madrox clone so he can make infinite clones of Venom and spread his influence throughout the universe. And it cannot be understated. So you're an Adam Warren fan like me.
I am.
The guy is hysterical, packs in so many jokes.
I love him. I love when he draws. Did he draw this?
No, he did not. He did a variant cover.
That hurts my feelings.
But Chamba is a great artist that perfectly delivers the comedic beats. Mm-hmm. There's a scene where it's a little like basically Marvel vs. Capcom fight screen where it's got a little Venom sproutling and a giant robot, and then it's just boot stomped.
I will read and devour pretty much anything Adam Warren touches. This one slipped by me, apparently.
It's quite fun. I don't know how easy it'll be to find in stores a week after the fact, just because it's a Venom book and those tend to do pretty dang well. Is
Venom pretty hot these days?
Oh, Venom's insanely popular right now. The Donny Cates run has been, well, I'm not crazy about it. It has a huge following. Absolute Carnage just happened, which was directly spinning out of the Venom run.
Venom's popularity has truly seen some hills and valleys.
Yeah.
So I'm always surprised when he comes back because there's been times when no one would touch his book.
Yeah. Some of my first comics was Larry Hama's Tail End Venom miniseries. We had like Venom. I'm trying to remember what it was called. It's like, it wasn't Venom I Am the Law, but it was Venom
I Am the Law.
I'm totally blanking on what it was called, but it was Venom as like a government agent. There was Venom Finale was the final one. Yeah, really at the tail end, those Venom miniseries got pretty lousy.
Yeah, they really did. I mean, Lethal Protector was really good. I really like the cover for Lethal Protector. I like my Venom without the tongue.
Yeah,
I still blame Eric Larson for that.
Yeah, Eric Larson, who got tired of drawing Venom every issue, so he would just make him look more and more ridiculous and cartoonish every time he had to, until he got to the square, like the rectangular jaw with the like increasingly knotted teeth.
Which really baffles me because I actually looked at some stuff on Spawn, I think last year, and Spawn had a mouth, teeth, and a tongue.
Yeah, I remember John Boy Myers, when he came on the Spawn book, kind of made him look more Venom-y, which I thought was kind of a funny feedback loop.
More reason for me to hate Spawn. And you know, I used to like Eric Larson. I used to thought he was really creative, but his stuff these days have just been
Yeah, I've hopped
low hanging fruit.
I hop into Dragon every so often, but yeah, Dragon
has turned into basically a porno book.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Dragon is, I say this all the time. It is the best idea in comics with the most middling execution.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think Eric Larsen's an incredibly talented cartoonist. Like, he knows how to like pace a scene, but it's just I'm not a big fan of his subject matter.
It's clear that he basically gets to control his subject matter. Nobody's overseeing him.
And you know what? I will say this for Eric Larsen. The dude 100% makes the story he wants to tell. And I got to respect him for that.
He's still drawing his stuff. He's still writing his stuff. But the stuff he's doing is prepubescent.
Yeah. I've always joked that Eric Larsen is two 12-year-olds in a trench coat making exactly the comic they want to make. And you know what? I ain't gonna fault him for that.
I've actually taken to expressing my opinions on Facebook about Eric Larsen, and I do have the badge of courage of actually having Eric Larsen completely fan back at me directly about it, and then a little back and forth. That was my fanboy moment, was telling Eric Larsen his crap was crap and having him defend it, and then I pointed out why his crap was crap. And I mean, obviously, his responses got much longer than mine, so I was like, bail.
Yeah, like Eric Larsen, he's not going to back down. Like, I don't always agree with Eric Larsen, but I respect the guy. Like, he's one of the image founding dudes that I think
you must respect your enemies and rejoice in their victories. And I rejoiced in his complete trouncing of me because I just ran out of words.
Yeah, he does what he wants to do, and he ain't going to let anybody tell him different.
Yeah.
But anyways, that's enough rambling about Eric Larsen and about a book from last week. Buy Venom: The End. It's hilarious. It's fun. It's delightful. And moving on to Superman number 19, the follow-up to the issue where Superman revealed his identity publicly.
And Superman number 19 is just as wholesome and warm as number 18 was.
It is. Yeah, I really love the opening sequence with Lois and Perry and Jimmy. Really fun, excellent character work there. I loved the whole office, like coming to see Clark after and clapping. That was nice.
That double gatefold of him walking out into the bullpen. And then you realize, you put together that he saved everybody's life in that office at least once. And I was like, that's a thing.
Also, I do think it's hilarious that he still comes to work. I like that he still comes to work like in people clothes, but he doesn't wear the glasses anymore. He doesn't
wear the glasses, but he's there to work.
Yeah.
Superman is definitely there to be a reporter. He still values himself as a reporter. And didn't he say something? He made mistakes in his stuff so that Lois's stuff wouldn't stand out as much. Or he said something like that, and I didn't really understand what that meant.
Lois famously makes a lot of typos. That's been a running joke for decades at this point. So I thought that was kind of cute. Then there's the meeting at the Hall of Justice, which I thought was kind of weird that Harley Quinn was there.
See, that's you saw the same thing I did.
Guess she's 100% hero now, and I'm like,
yeah, there was a lot of weird things in that shot. I saved it. Of course, I'm not going to bring it up here on my phone. But yeah, I saw Harley Quinn in there, and I saw like some weird hawk dude in the background with a helmet, and there's all kinds of weird characters in this spread.
Yeah, Man-Bat was there, but he's been in JLD for about a year now.
Is that what that is?
Yeah. Or I think he's been there for actually closer to 2 years at this point. Yeah. Man-Bat's been with the Justice League Dark. I like the little bit of Plastic Man opening up the shirt with the Superman. Metamorpho, always happy to see him.
Oh, you're always happy to see Metamorpho.
Notably absent, Hal Jordan, because he's off doing space stuff in the pages of the Green Lantern.
Yeah. Is the Dark Stars thing over yet?
Dark Stars, I believe the final issue comes out next week.
Okay.
And then, oh man, it actually reminded me of a bit of news that disappointed me this week is Green Lantern's been cut short to 8 issues from 12. Disappointing. We might talk about that later in news.
Yeah, let's talk about that a little later because that's news to me.
Yeah. But anyways, continuing from the Hall of Justice scene, we get to a first kind of working of I believe it's United Planets is what they're calling it, where you've got Thanagarians, you've got Temerians,
Dominators.
You got Dominators. And then Mongol shows up to mess everything up.
Yeah, and then gets, we thought, profoundly trounced by our boy Soups. It's like, no, you're not going to do that.
Yeah, I actually really like this treatment of Mongol because I'm actually currently rereading the early 2000s Superman stuff that I read as a kid with Joe Kelly, Jeff Loeb, Ed McGuinness, and Mongol's a big factor there too. So it's kind of
one time Mongol tried to take over the Yellow Lantern Corps.
Yeah, I remember that. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, I've actually got a little hero clicks of Mongol, and he's got both of his hands are just wrapped in yellow rings on each of his fingers.
And he tore out Arkillo's tongue.
He did do that. Thank God that Arkillo could regrow his own tongue and hand.
No, he couldn't regrow it. He had to get it healed by St. Walker.
Oh, yeah, there's that.
For a while, he had a construct tongue.
He had a construct hand, too.
Yeah. It was rad as hell.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm really impressed by how much Bendis has won me over with this arc. Because my feelings before was I didn't care for the stories, but I really liked his take on Superman and his supporting cast. I'm really loving this story, which shocks me.
And I think that they're kind of taking us on a ride because, you know, we're going into this story with expectations. Once you reveal your secret identity, shit's supposed to go wrong. Yeah. You know, stuff's supposed to go completely haywire.
And I really love that they address that.
And that's what I'm talking about. That this entire, it's like, you know, I'm really expecting, I don't know what I expected with my day, but I didn't expect, you know, people just to take the day off and just chill. And it's been a decent day. People cheering him on as he's flying through the air. And it's like the evil is taking a vacation day.
It was nice.
Even if it's just for a day.
Yeah. I really liked when he just kind of points out that like, I've spent so much time like freaking out about what happened this day ever come and nothing really happened. The world's still turning. And I thought that was a really nice sentiment and message for the book.
I think that was really cool. I like the fact that it felt like he was addressing us as the readers because we went in with that expectation.
Exactly. So A+, Bendis and Reis, keep up the good work. And I'm excited to see even more
I thought I would
Mongol
give a
fights.
crap about a Superman book. I tell you.
As a lifelong Superman fan, I knew I would. But continuing, this one is one of the really two big releases of this week. Wonder Woman number 750. In the tradition of Action 1000 and Detective 1000, it is a near 100-page jam issue from a variety of creators. I'm not going to talk about all the stories.
And you know I didn't read that.
Yeah. So I'm going to just talk about my favorite ones. So Steve Orlando and Jesus Marino do the lead story that concludes the Cheetah arc that's been running through the main Wonder Woman book, which was actually him having to finish up G. Willow Wilson's arc because she got a really big opportunity and had to leave the book. So he took over, wrapped up her story, and his arc starts in full next month. But it's a pretty solid Wonder Woman Cheetah fight. Cheetah's armed with the God Killer sword and Wonder Woman's tiara and her bracelets.
Huh.
They do not fit properly. It's a fun look. But it comes down to Wonder Woman defeating her, like not just purely through combat, but through like appealing to her reason and her best self. And we get Wonder Woman reforging her bracers with her mother, which is a really cool little bonding moment. And then her flying away.
Do you think that's how they're going to handle Cheetah in Wonder Woman 1984?
I hope so, because the last few years have done really good stuff with Cheetah as a character that I hope they take inspiration from. And that actually is another part of one of the really good stories in here is by Greg Rucka and Nicola Scott revisiting their recent Wonder Woman Rebirth run, which also dealt very heavily with Cheetah and Diana's relationship. Then.
No, go ahead.
Oh, no? Okay.
I had a thought, but I was like, nah.
All right. Well, continuing, Gail Simone and Colleen Duran reunite from the Wonder Woman special from a few years ago to do another Star Blossom story. Really sweet new character. She's a little girl who can basically create flowers, and she looks a huge Wonder Woman fan. So just a really sweet little story there.
Anything that takes a Gail away from another Secret Six comic just makes me angry. I'm sorry.
I'm just surprised that because Star Blossom gets really big reception online. Like a lot of people really like the character and she's a really cute, fun addition to the universe. So I'm surprised that she's only ever shown up in these Wonder Woman specials. I feel like DC should, especially with their recent push to do a lot of more kids and young adult books, why they don't focus on this character. She's gotten them a bunch of news press and stuff. Really kind of baffling to me. But, next up on my list, I had Shannon and Dean Hale with Riley Rosmo doing a cute story of Wonder Woman's mom letting a Hydra loose on Themyscira just to get her daughter to come and talk to her. It was pretty cute. All the Amazon just like, Diana, why haven't you called lately? Diana, how's it going out there? You should stop and visit more. And so they have like a fake Hydra attack. It was really cute.
No, you say the word Hydra, and of course my head goes back to
Hydra.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
And I've got an interesting little tidbit I picked up online. I was on Reddit, and there was this big thing about people's interactions with celebrities and stuff like that. You know, what has been your chance interaction with celebrities? How did they act? Were they dicks? Were they cool? And this one guy talks about the fact that he ran into Tom Cruise. And then when he walked up to him and he shook his hand, Tom Cruise pulled him in and whispered "Hail Hydra" into his ear.
Well, I'm not surprised. Tom Cruise is known to be parts of sinister organizations.
You know, I know a lot of my friends poo-poo on Tom Cruise because of his kooky religions and his viewpoints on psychiatry and psychology and anything like that. But you know what? Tom Cruise is the shit. And the point, he's in his 50s. He does all his own stunts. He tries to push the envelope. I love Tom Cruise.
No.
I think he's a bad motherfucker. There's my F-bomb.
Weird tangent to go on, but okay.
Yeah, well, you know what? I'm a fanboy. What can I say?
Alrighty. Well, after Casey's spirited defense of Tom Cruise, Vita Ayala and Amanake Nahalapin wrap up the book with another really nice story of Wonder Woman just being compassionate towards the villain. It's about Silver Swan, who recently had a new origin in DC Rebirth.
I remember Silver Swan.
Yeah. And it's about Diana visiting her in jail and helping her redeem herself. And
God, I remember when that character actually first came out. That's how old I am. I remember when they first introduced Silver Swan, and I was pretty much just buying every comic at that point, including Wonder Woman.
Good stuff. So yeah, Wonder Woman 750. Excellent little collection of stories if you like Wonder Woman. I'm a little less enthused about the upcoming Catwoman, Joker, and Robin 80th anniversary ones, just because they don't even have a big anniversary number to tie them onto. It just feels like we got to get more $10 books out there with 10 variant covers.
Well, I'm kind of curious to see how they're going to juggle Robin, because I heard they were going to go and do like all the Robins.
Yeah.
I mean, I wonder if they're really going to do that or not.
They're all featured on the covers. Like the 2000s cover for the Robin special is just Stephanie Brown. Stephanie Brown. So that's pretty cool. She's one of my favorite Robins, even though
I would totally read something about all the Batgirls. So
yeah, a Batgirl special would be cool. That's I mean, she hasn't been around for 80 years. She just showed up in the Silver Age, but we're probably getting close to. We gotta.
But pretty much everybody that's ever got into a Batgirl outfit has had a cool run.
Yeah, it's true.
I loved I'm a Cassandra Cain Batgirl fan, and I did love the Stephanie Brown.
Stephanie Brown's run was so fun.
Her black and purple outfit.
Excellent eggplant outfit. Then, that's going to wrap up for our DC titles. And moving on to I Pledge Allegiance to the Mask #4, which wrapped up the series excellently. Between Big Head's inauguration speech, which is a massive 2-page rant that is delightful, there's the hyper-violence I expect and frankly demand from a Mask title. So there's a scene where the Mask rejects its current host because he ain't got the spine and stomach for it. So it plops off the desk. A guy who's been trying to get the Mask for the entire series attempts to grab it, and it, in response, decapitates him. Just right through the neck. And the Mask splits in half, tries to connect two hosts together, and the White House explodes. There's a suicide bomber there.
Of course.
And the whole thing wraps up with a message from Big Head saying, you really didn't need me. Like, you can feel free to try and blame me, but in the end, I just kind of reveal what was there all along, which a very apt on the nose parable for our times, frankly.
So much so I'm breaking my own nose.
And the book ends with this image of the Statue of Liberty turning around with the Mask's face.
Yeah, which is kind of a nebulous way of ending it, but I guess the Mask can alter reality.
I like that it's closed enough to get to feel like a complete 4-issue mini. Mm-hmm. But I mean, that Loki's Mask can probably reknit itself together and find itself a new host. It might even get that iconic the little middle stripe from the movie, which would be kind of cool.
The middle stripe from the movie?
Well, because the movie Mask, it's got it's wooden. It's not jade like the comics one.
It's got that
little
piece.
three studs. So that'd be kind of a fun way to incorporate that.
Yeah, it would be.
But moving right along. This was actually my favorite book this week. Guardians of the Galaxy #1. Al Ewing from Immortal Hulk is writing it. Juan Cabal from X-23 is drawing it. Woo, man, what a fun start to the series. After a year of Guardian stories I did not enjoy.
I have been dodging Guardians of the Galaxy for a while, too, because of some of the mediocre writing on it.
The Bendis run did a pretty good job of scaring me off.
What we've got is the Kree they're still kind of scattered around because Hala was destroyed, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
So, and there's a Kree civil war going on. And, of course, there's this child worried about the war coming to visit them. And they're on some kind of a farming colony, some non-military thing. And, the kid, the father's like, we're so far away from the war. You don't have to worry about anything. Nothing would ever come to us. And then, boom, Zeus shows up and blows everything
with
up.
an amazing new design. Like, I love the Olympians' Marvel Cosmic ass designs.
Yes. I mean, he just nuked the place. And I was like, that happened quickly and violently. And what the hell's going on with the Olympians? And so I'm intrigued. I'm already sucked in because that's not how I know my Olympians, especially, some of the secondary ones. Like Hermes is like, wow, they're all acting very strangely.
Reincarnated, baby.
Yeah, well, that's my understanding is that they were all killed and they came back as Guardian style because that's what you do when you're a god. So we come to a barbecue of all the Guardians of the Galaxy and their add-on people like Phyla and Moondragon, who are apparently from alternate universes.
Yeah, they since I'm trying to remember when they got killed off. I remember being annoyed by it. And then they brought in alt universe versions during the Infinity stuff from Gerry Duggan's Guardians run.
Well, I know they killed off Phyla during the time that she was Martyr. And that was right about the time that Adam Warlock did another turn as the Magus. So he killed them off. I didn't know that Moondragon bit it, but I mean, I believe it because that's happened before. And we've also got Drax looking a little differently. He's looking more in line with the movie than he is. Because, I mean, Drax in Marvel Universe doesn't look like it.
Last time he popped up, he was looking more like classic Drax Destroyer with like the purple cowl. And I think he's going to be wearing that outfit when he shows back up in a few issues.
Yeah, he's gone back between the movie and the classic sense, at one time, he had like red scars and stuff all over him and red eye marks, much like Gamora.
Which was what inspired the movie look.
Yeah. And so from what I understand, Richard Rider, our boy Nova, shows up to inform the Guardians of the Galaxy, hey, stuff's gone nuts. The
Crisis alert.
We're all going big. And the first reaction comes out from Gamora. No, we've had enough. We're going to just chill.
Which I really appreciated because, it has just been one universe-ending calamity after another the last couple of years.
And in fact, it's coming from Gamora. The deadliest woman in the galaxy, and she just wants a freaking break.
She just had to kill her adopted dad and then see him come back. It's not been a great year for old Gamora.
Yeah, and when you see stuff like this in the comics, it's usually like, oh, okay, well, they just need to be talked into it, and then they're going to be gung-ho. But no, I mean, her and a couple of the others stand their ground so fervently, they're not even in the cast. So we've got no Gamora, we've got no Drax. We got no Groot.
No Groot.
So we got Phyla, we got Moondragon, we got Richard Rider, Nova, Star-Lord, and surprisingly, Rocket Raccoon, who apparently went through his own transformation when he lost his biomechanics and it was a new raccoon.
Yes.
He's got his own little suit on.
I love the suit.
And he's less selfish. And I was like, interesting. Okay, let's see where this goes.
Al Ewing has a great handle on Rocket as a character. He wrote a 5 or 6 issue mini a few years back with him where he also wore the 3-piece suit. Really fun little heist series. Highly recommend.
I was like, what's up with the suit?
I love the bit where I think Drax calls him a raccoon and someone comes like, hey, you normally get really mad when someone calls you. It's like, I am what I am. And what I am is a raccoon-like creature.
Yes. Ranger Rocket.
But another favorite character of mine, well, not really a big favorite, but he's a character I always like to see. Novar gets an amazing introductory page where if you did not know he was a Grant Morrison creation, you certainly do after his intro.
Oh, yeah, with his explosive
he's got exploding fingernails. He's got cockroach DNA. He can climb up walls.
Psychedelic drugs in his tongue.
Yes. He's got hallucination-inducing saliva. He has his own personal set of physics.
No, that's some reality bending shit.
Really
right there.
Fun. I love it. It's just like, well, since we have a Nova on the team, I must introduce myself. I am Novar.
And they even used the old Marvel Boy title card for his stuff.
One of my favorite gimmicks in comics whenever they do that.
Yeah, I love it when they do that. And he's gone back to his original look.
He's got the shorts.
They're trying to make it very clear this is Marvel Boy. This isn't like Protector or the Captain Marvel. See, Novar was actually supposed to be Captain Marvel's replacement. And that's what Marvel was going to do. And then all of a sudden, hey, somebody goes, we got this Miss Marvel over here that we haven't done anything with. I think it's her time.
They did so many weird things with Novar throughout the 2000s, like the Protector thing when he was a Dark Avenger. Just a very directionless character for a while that I don't think until Kieran Gillen took him into Young Avengers, finally it felt like, okay, here's the direction we should be taking with this character.
I actually loved his time in Young Avengers, and he was also in wasn't he also in West Coast Avengers?
Yes, he did pop up because he is Kate Bishop's ex from Young Avengers, so he pops up in West Coast Avengers.
With psychedelic drugs on your tongue, I expect that making out with him is an exceptional experience.
Hopefully you don't get too much of the cockroach DNA.
I was wondering why they hadn't mentioned the cockroach DNA. I was going through that.
Makes him very unkillable.
Yes,
great
exceedingly
power.
unkillable. But I actually didn't know about the laws of physics change aura he has. So allows him to, hey, can you make black holes? He's like, sure.
And I do want to point out, I think issue 4 or 5 will show what's going on with the other Guardians who don't go with them. They're referred to as, I think, the West End Andromeda Guardians, so we're getting a West Coast Avengers version of the Guardians of the Galaxy. Very excited for
West
that.
End and Drama. It sounds very Broadway. I hope
really
that
does.
they do something with that, though. And I hope that they placard it over the Guardians of the Galaxy. They're brave enough to put that on the cover.
So the heist begins in full with the Guardians traveling to Olympus, which randomly is teleporting throughout the galaxy and blowing up planets. And they sneak aboard. Things go not great for them because they're fighting literal gods.
Yeah, there's apparently a couple already out doing bad, and there's 3 waiting in the winds.
Nova is doing his damnedest to fight Zeus, which my boy Rick Ryder.
Hey, he stepped up and took the direct route.
Yep. But it's the last page reveal of this that made me audibly gasp and go, oh, hell yeah. And that is the return of my boy Hercules, the Lion of Olympus.
The incredible Hercules.
When I was reading it, I was like, man, with all these Olympians, I hope Al Ewing does something with Hercules and Immortal Hulk. And then I was like, oh, this is even better.
This is better.
It's like I
hope he's like the secret member that they didn't announce.
I would love that. I think that's what they're going to do.
I would outright kill for another Incredible Hercules series.
Me too. It was
such a great run.
I loved Incredible Hercules. I loved the Herc book where he was powerless after Incredible Hercules. I loved the Dan Abnett Hercules book that came out a few years, like in 2016. That one was really good. Criminally underread.
He's not as insufferable as he used to be. And he's comedy gold.
Oh, yeah. And even the dramatic beats, they work. That was one of the things I wasn't sure about going into Abnett's run. I was like, it's not, he's very like upfront. It's like, this isn't going to be like a silly book. It's going to be a straighter take on Hercules. And I was like, I don't know if I want that, but he did a really good job with it and made the emotional beats really work with him getting sober.
During his serious take, didn't they also tackle the fact that he was known to have killed his wife and son?
That came in the 2099 stuff that Peter David did, because Hercules is part of the Avengers 2099 because he's still alive, but he's haunted by the guilt of that.
Yeah, I wonder where that was like some mythological story I just never read before, or something. I mean, I figure probably
that's
is.
a traditional part of Hercules' mythology.
God, mythology can get really gross.
But say downer note for classic Hercules aside, I'm excited to see what he does in Member of the Guardians. I'm always of two minds of the increased comedic take of the Guardians post movie. Hercules is a perfect match for that tone, and this book nails that tone. It makes it entertaining without feeling like they're just doing a cheap cover of the movies.
So I don't think they're probably going to go with the comedic route with this one. Although, God, I really hope they do.
Yeah,
I really hope they do. Especially got Rocket right there. You got somebody to riff off of.
And I mean, he and Rocket already have an established rapport from No Surrender and No Road Home.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Although I want to bring Choi back just because he was the ultimate straight guy for this kind of buffoonery.
There's a really nice scene in the Dan Abnett Hercules of Amadeus Cho when he was Hulk hanging out with Hercules. Highly recommend that Hercules book. Quite good. But now it's time for the X-Men. And this week we got 2 excellent books. Excellent.
Yeah, you like that?
Starting off with Marauders by Gerry Duggan, Matteo Lolli, and Mario Del Penmo, which drives me crazy when there's art shifts in the middle of a book that aren't like story relevant.
You say, okay, so I'm not the only person that caught that too.
Yeah.
When I was reading through the book, it immediately caught in Kate Pryde's reaction face. I was like, wait a minute. What just happened here?
Because Matteo Lolli has a very soft, rounded style, and Mario del Pennino has a much harsher style, and so it was just a very kind of like day and night. Particularly with Storm. Storm was when I noticed it. I was like, oh, that looks like a totally different person.
Yeah, so we've got an as yet masked. We don't know who is under the mask for Hate Monger. So we don't know if we're dealing with good old clone Hitler or somebody else that just likes purple. But we're dealing with that, and we're dealing with the Executioner, who also could very well be somebody else because it's not the same FBI agent. But apparently there's a third member that we didn't know about, and we don't know until they stab Pyro.
Oh, it's so good. Not the whole mission, but a good portion of the mission was just to get Yellow Jacket into position to sneak into Krakoa.
Yes.
And he has a great little log. One of the text pieces is just his like log while he's just in a little tiny submarine chilling out inside Pyro's bloodstream. And
he goes and basically talks about his experience when Pyro after all the action is done and everything. And some of the descriptions are really cool. It's like, I can hear everything that Pyro is saying because it's just reverberating as he speaks through his bones. And I guess that speaks to the reality of us when we hear ourselves.
Yeah.
It's all right here. And in fact, he's like, okay, Pyro's just watching a movie outside with everybody else, and this is kind of chilling. Maybe I don't want to kill all of humanity. I wonder what I'm doing here.
It's like why are we trying to kill all these mutants? They seem pretty chill.
Yeah, exactly. They seem pretty chill. So I'm kind of curious to who this Yellow Jacket is. It's probably not relevant who he is.
I believe it's still. I think they made Darren Cross into Yellow Jacket to line up with the movies.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so. I thought it was a weird choice when I was reading Ant-Man as well. I was like, well, that didn't feel very organic considering Darren Cross's 30-year history. But
yeah, I thought that was a little bit of I don't know what they were thinking on that one.
I liked it in the movie. It made sense because that's Darren Cross as a character in that movie is stripped of the baggage from years and years in the comics.
Exactly.
But we do the same thing with the comic character. Honestly, they should have just made Eric O'Grady Yellow Jacket because they basically used his Ant-Man suit design for the Yellow Jacket in the movie.
I guess they could, but you know what? Good old Ant-Man has been kind of buddy, almost on a Blue Beetle and Booster Gold thing with Taskmaster.
Yeah, but he could still be Yellow Jacket. Black Ant's a terrible name.
It is a terrible name. I think that's actually what works for him. Is the fact he has a terrible name.
I guess, but... I love Eric O'Grady's first costume with like the big bug eyes and the little antenna and the big ant legs. And I love that they used cues from that to make the Yellow Jacket movie costume. And I would have loved to kind of seen that flow back.
Well, I mean, as often as they've been using him, because they have used him for quite a few times, they've always stuck him with Taskmaster.
Yeah.
And I think
and he is wearing a variation on his classic suit now. So
right.
I appreciate that.
I think that's pretty much what we're going to see is that particular pairing.
I feel like we're going to see an end to that with the new Taskmaster mini. I hope I'm wrong, but I feel like they're going to try to have a straighter take on Taskmaster.
I don't know, man. Every time I see there's a Taskmaster mini, I'm kind of curious what's going to happen because we've already done it twice. First one was great. Udon Studios was involved. They completely redesigned the costume. It looked really, really cool.
Much better than the movie one.
Much better than the movie one. And it kind of explored some of his backstory because Udon was also doing stuff with Agent X at the time. So we got to include all those characters like Cowgirl or whatever her name is, Cowboy. But the second one,
Outlaw is the character.
Outlaw, thank you. Because second one was completely forgettable. The concept is that
the Fred Van Lent series,
the one where he's like a shield agent.
Yeah, that series is amazing.
Yeah, but okay. Here's the thing: they try to introduce a super, super, super big group that oversees all the evil groups of the world.
Yeah, it was fun,
and you never see that group ever again.
It was like what? MLF, the Minions Liberation Front. That was great. I love that.
Well, that seemed to me
and
like
they all wear red shirts. Like it's hilarious.
It was a comedy book, but I mean, it has no real bearing on the. Okay,
I think you're taking a comedy book too seriously.
I am, and it's because I'm a Taskmaster fan, and you only get a series every 10 years, and here's my time. Here's my second series. Like, okay, cool. I'm gonna see some background on this, and it was just goofy.
Yeah, it's like Next Wave.
It was like it's the Next Wave with She-Hulk.
I think it's the closest a book has gotten to being Next Wave, and I love Next Wave. I mean, come on, the town that was Hitler, that was great. That was hysterical.
I think you've already nailed it on the head. Why I'm taking this so badly is because it's one of my characters. It's one of my favorite characters.
I love Taskmaster too. Like he's not like a top fiver, but he's definitely my top 20 favorite villains.
I mean, it would be like if like somebody decided, hey, we're gonna make a Sabretooth series, but Mike Alvarez is gonna draw it, and Ecstatics is gonna co-star. I'm like, no,
that sounds amazing. I think
it doesn't sound amazing.
I think you're just wrong. You're being the fun police, Casey.
Be that as it may be, that's not where I wanted my Taskmaster to be. So now this third series, is it going to be serious? Are we going to actually get something out of this?
We'll see.
Or is it going to be another romp?
I think it's going to be a more serious take, just based on the cover art.
Yeah,
but we'll see. We'll probably talk about it when it comes out.
You think it's probably gonna? I think that they're doing it because of Black Widow.
It's 100% because of the Black Widow movie.
Yeah,
it's grouped with a one shot starring Yelena Belanova and Red Guardian. The original Red Guardian too, which is weird because I think he's been dead for years.
Very dead.
Like, he was dead in the 80s, wasn't he?
What was the second Red Guardian? She became like Shooting Star? No, not Shooting Star.
Dark Star. Is it Dark Star's her name?
No, Dark Star is the mutant.
Yeah.
But she became something Star.
Yeah, I'm not sure. There's Vanguard. I remember he was Red Guardian. I think he's the current Red Guardian.
He is the current Red Guardian. Because,
well, I guess not anymore.
Yeah. It's kind of hard to have a Soviet super soldiers in this current day and age when we lost the Soviets back in '89 and no one ever ages. So it's like, well, crap, we can't really do a lot of the imagery that we want to do. And Vanguard had pretty much a hammer and sickle right on his chest.
He was like Thor, but he had a sickle plus a hammer.
He did.
Objectively better.
And they actually brought in like a secondary Thor into they call it now the Winter Guard.
Mm-hmm.
And now they have like a secondary kind of Russian Thor.
And Crimson Dynamo, whatever number they're on.
Whatever. Yeah.
Like number 9 or something.
So that's what's going on with that.
Yeah. Man, we talked a lot. We really got off track talking about Yellow Jacket.
We got derailed so much. I actually had to look back. I was like, are we still on Marauders?
We are, in fact, still on Marauders. And so let's talk about the ending. This entire operation was set up by Sebastian Shaw as a way to get Kitty Pryde out of the way. A hilarious shot of him below decks in all of the power dampening armor that they were smuggling, of him just like lifting one of the visors like he's in a Scooby-Doo episode.
Yeah, exactly. So basically we're seeing one of the villains. We've all kind of gathered in this thing. We all knew at least one of them was going to break off, and the villainy was going to start all over again. And Sebastian Shaw decided to be the first of that group. We thought it was going to be Apocalypse because of what he was doing in Excalibur, but it wasn't. Mm-hmm. It's all about Sebastian Shaw. And what's the first thing that Kate Pryde says? We're going to put you in next with Sabretooth. And I was like, maybe, but not today. So, yeah, I mean, this is where Shaw needs to be, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been kind of the whipping boy ever since he became on the side of the Angels.
Yeah, he has been a chump for years.
He really, and he became a chump when he got to Krakoa, so it didn't change. So, I guess for us to take this character even seriously, because he's been chumped. He needs to be villainous.
Yeah, was it 2 issues? It was 2 issues of Marauders ago. That was the focus issue with him and Shinobi. That was excellent, and the most I've cared about Sebastian Shaw in years.
And he was getting clowned in that one.
Yeah. But he had a plan behind the clowning.
He definitely had a plan.
Which I really dig. I can't believe I care about Sebastian goddamn Shaw.
Sucked us in.
Got me again, Hickman. And Gerry Duggan.
And then we saw our poor girl, Kate, drowned to death.
Yeah, the book ends with her like drowning, trying to save Lockjaw. Lockheed, sorry.
I'm not the only one screwing up names today. So she practically panics because she can't bring him back.
Yeah, and they make a point of Sebastian Shaw being like, "Hey, if you can't go through the Krakoan gates, who's to say that you can get revived in Krakoa?" He
even termed her as a half mutant,
which
he's definitely turning his nose very Death Eater-ish at her. Because she really can't come back. So how are we going to address this?
We'll see. I doubt she's going to drown.
Well, looks like she's pretty dead.
We'll see.
She looked pretty dead to me.
She's just phasing through life. It's no big deal.
I kind of expected Pyro to finally bite it because we've all pretty much been on like a
Pyro Deathwatch 2K20.
Exactly. We've got a betting pool to see when Pyro's actually going to bite it because we know what's going to happen. He's already survived. It's Marauder 6. He's still alive. Still got the same ridiculous tattoo. I say he doesn't survive to see issue 9.
I'm going to be more generous and say number 12.
Gentleman's bet.
Let's do it.
All right, let's kill
You'll
this
notice
bastard.
we did not say terms, so we can make it up as we go.
Well, our gentleman's bet in the past has been $1, and I've already won the first one when Scalp Hunter showed
Let me
up.
get that goddamn dollar back. But let's move along. We spent a lot of time on Marauders. Wow.
We like our Marauders.
So we do. Excalibur, which I know you're not as fond as I am, but
And I want to be. I loved old Excalibur. I love old Alan Davis stuff. I love Nightcrawlers. He's my favorite heroic mutant.
which
Period.
You're going to be super excited for giant size Nightcrawler come April.
Yes, I am.
Alan Davis.
Yes, I am. I'm very excited about that. I got a buddy of mine named Steve who's also a Nightcrawler fan. He wants to get the Alan Davis Nightcrawler tattooed on himself.
Ooh.
So he and I see eye to eye on who is the right person for Nightcrawler. And I sent him a picture of that thing. So we're both really super excited
Nice.
about that.
But here we get to see parts of Apocalypse plan finally come to fruition.
Yes.
He has installed his own King of Otherworld in Jamie Braddock.
Which is just as insane as it should be.
Yes. He just traipses around in a toga and a crown. It's so good.
You know what? It really had to be that way because with Jamie Braddock, you have to deal with him. You have to herd him.
Mhm.
Because if he's just standing around in the background, shit's going to go wrong. You've got to stick him somewhere. And what else? Give him something that's going to appeal to his sense of vanity and stick him in another dimension.
Yeah.
So perfect.
Exactly. Where he gets to be the Mad King of a magical realm.
Yeah. Knock yourself out, Jamie. Stay out of the way. Yeah.
But this is the biggest thing for me is the issue ends. Well, before we get to that, Brian Braddock is no longer worthy of the Captain Britain title due to what happened to the trauma he went through in Morgan Le Fay's Thrall.
Right.
I should reword that. He's having like a crisis of faith essentially, and he no longer finds himself worthy. He fails the test of the sword or the amulet, and he sticks with the sword. Betsy is like, "Hey, like you can work through this. We're like you're gonna get better." And I really appreciated that. I like that it's not just Braddock turning into, say, penance and wearing spikes and being edgy.
Now this is what I before we got started, this is actually one of the things that really bugged me because there's a big splash where he shows he's got the Sword of Might. And, as a reader, what this writer's trying to tell me is because he has a Sword of Might, he's failed. That's the reason why they give it this big splash page. But that's not the way it works. And that's the reason why this page fails. We've got another Captain Britain that came around in the early double aughts. A woman that went on to become, was it Pendragon? I'm not even sure if that's really the name, but she was an Avenger, mostly blue outfit, but it kind of looked like the old Captain Britain costume that was mostly red at the time with the lion on the chest. But she had the Sword of Might. She chose the Sword of Might. She became Captain Britain. So it seems to me like the rules don't really add up.
Here's the thing on that. Chuck Austin's a hack. I have no doubt in my mind that Chuck Austin either didn't read Excalibur or just didn't care.
Now,
It was also part of an extremely post 9/11 lineup for the Invaders. So definitely having a bloodthirstier war focused Captain Britain was more on the agenda than.
A side note, very much a side note. Do you remember the Epic Comics series Alien Legion?
Know the title, never read it.
Carl Potts did it.
Oh, I like Carl Potts.
But also, I think Chuck Austin was involved in it.
Ew.
So every time you say Chuck Austin, I'm thinking,
well, now I don't want to read that.
Alien Legion's the stuff, man.
Did you ever read U.S. War Machine?
I did. The black and white books?
Yeah, one of the worst things Marvel's ever published.
It was not good.
Or his Uncanny X-Men run, the worst X-Men run.
Which one was that? Tell me.
His Uncanny X-Men run is the one with the Draco, where they reveal that Nightcrawler is an actual demon from hell. It's got On Angel's Wings, I think is what the arc was called, where Angel has sex with Husk in front of her mother in the air.
I remember this run.
And it's all an incredibly painful Romeo and Juliet parable.
It was really cringeworthy.
Juggernaut becomes an X-Man.
Yeah.
Which, not a terrible idea, but with horrendous execution. I could go on and on about how much I hate Chuck Austin's run on X-Men.
I did not like the Angel thing, and the Angel thing was a little pervy. I seriously did not like them trying to spin magic into Nightcrawler's origin.
Yeah, because like the whole thing of the character is he looks like a demon, but he's not. Yeah, he's a person, and then he's like, oh, metaphors. Sorry, had to get my F-bomb in there. But just, see, that's what happens when I talk about Chuck Austin. Get all worked up.
Oh, I mean, it's the truth, man. When you call him Nightcrawler, that you have the exact same outlook I do, because that's the whole basis of the character, is that he's this virtuous person in a demonic looking body. I mean, it's the reason why the villagers were chasing him way back in Giant Science X-Men #1 when he was first introduced. So to introduce the fact, oh yeah, by the way, he is a demon, basically does this to the reader.
Yeah, it's... But yeah, I will say this about Chuck Austin. He has found his true calling, which is a producer of cartoons. He does a lot of really good, like, I don't know what his involvement is, but I know he, at the very least, he's been a producer on Steven Universe, like, from Jump. So whatever he's doing there, it's working.
So now that you've brought my attention to the fact that Chuck Austin is the dipstick that actually messed with my boy Nightcrawler, we can now form the anti-Chuck Austin fan club.
I just got to get the facts out there. Got to make you understand why you should disregard the existence of Pendragon.
Yeah, you really should hate Chuck Austin pretty much the way, well, actually more than the way you should look down your nose at Greg Land.
But
we're not going to get off into a tangent about Greg Land.
Wrapping up the Excalibur coverage, the last page reveal is Jamie Braddock is going around his new castle and stumbles upon, well, there's less stumbles upon and more of, is going to find good old Apocalypse performing an autopsy on Morgan Le Fay.
Of sorts.
With his big old mitts and his little tiny scalpel.
His tiny little scalpel and that gigantic
it's
hand.
It's very charming. Yeah. But the last page is a text piece of his notes of the autopsy.
Right.
And he mentions finding a component that he's never encountered before.
The Y gene.
Yes, component Y, which is, I guess, the next step of evolution. Maybe it ties it in exclusively to magic.
And I brought up the idea of the Y gene becoming the Marvel midichlorians.
But I don't mind, because they're making it work. They're not just, it's actually related to something in universe.
I want to know what the Y gene count is on Doctor Strange. Brooke, find that out for me.
But yeah, it might just wind up being like Otherworld's version of the X gene is what my thinking is. I hope it's not like a magic attuning thing, but I'm sure they can convince me to make it work.
Oh, tail end of this. Remember when we were talking about New Mutants and the magic scene where she basically propositions all of her enemies before slaughtering them?
Yes.
This has become a meme now.
A+. Glad you love to see it.
Yeah.
And
I think it's going to take a little bit of break here before we get into the news, and we'll be right back.
Hey, this is Brooke with Haphazard Fiction, and welcome to episode 20 of Hazardous Materials, last week's comics this week. Myself, Rob, Casey, and Gideon, we did take last week off, but hopefully you stuck around and you got a chance to listen to Casey and Gideon's top 10 of the decade. I don't know if this is officially episode 21 then, but that was a special episode, so we're back on normal track here. Thanks for joining us back today, and hope you guys are enjoying the episode so far. And if you'd like to learn a little bit more about us, check us out on social media. We have an Instagram, a Facebook, I think we have a Twitter. If you're listening to us and not able to watch us on YouTube, you can check out the pictures that we're throwing out on our Instagram feed. We do appreciate you guys coming around as usual. Once again, we would really love your feedback, love a like, love a subscribe. We're hoping to be able to grow what we do on the channel, so anything you guys can do, anything you guys would like to see, we would love to take your input into account, so that way we can grow this channel. But I really appreciate you guys tuning in, and I take you back to Casey and Gideon now with Hazardous Materials.
And we're back, and we've got a bevy of news today. Starting off, Casey, you brought this to my attention, and I loved it. It's really
Yes,
cool.
indeed. We apparently got this cool new shot of U.S. Agent from Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Some people have been incorrectly labeling this as the new Captain America.
I I wish it had a bit more black in the costume.
Yeah, me too.
But I love the way the little straps on the chest make the stripes.
Yeah, they make it very obvious what they're trying to do.
The A within the star logo is awesome. I love that.
And the fact that he's carrying the shield is like, okay, what kind of story thing just happened here? How did he get this from Falcon? But then that goes back to the rumor that this entire series is about the U.S. government disagreeing with Cap's choice of Captain America.
And you're getting good old Wyatt Russell as our boy, Johnny Walker. And I'm excited to see where it goes. Have they confirmed or denied if Battlestar's going to be in the show?
I have not heard a single bit of that. I don't think they're going to do that.
Yeah. I liked Battlestar. I thought he was cool.
It was cool, but the fact that he's like, oh, hey, and here's his chum Battlestar, his sidekick, and it's like that kind of.
It started off iffy. Well, pretty awful with him being the new Black Bucky, but then so I don't think it was Dwayne McDuffie or Chris Priest, but someone in the bullpen like took Mark Gruenwald aside and was like, "Hey, here's why this isn't a great idea. You should rework that," and that's why he became Battlestar.
Exactly. I was like, nah, this is really problematic.
Battlestar is a cool character in his own right, though.
We've actually got another news bit that's actually coming from this show as well, because not only we got our cool U.S. agent, but apparently it's heavily rumored that Marvel wants to introduce Thunderbolts, or at least the concept of Thunderbolts in this show. Now, this is something that has been rumored a lot. People bouncing it around over at Marvel Studios about them wanting to do a Thunderbolts thing. I remember a lot of people were talking about, whatever's going to happen in Avengers Endgame is probably going to end the Avengers, and then that's the perfect opportunity to bring in the Thunderbolts. If you may not have known this, Thunderbolts was kind of like a replacement superhero team when the Avengers kind of disappeared from the world, and it was. It turned out it was like a bunch of people, villains dressed as heroes. The
best first issue twist ever.
The best.
Just that last page where they all unmask and Baron Zemo's like, and now we will take over the world.
And that's the whole point I'm talking about, is the fact that Zemo in MCU is very much alive, very much full of verve.
And he's going to be wearing that purple mask in Falcon the Winter Soldier.
And this is the perfect opportunity for him to pull another fast one.
Now, there have been rumors of Thunderbolts being attached to everything since like Age of Ultron came out. So I'll wait. I'll believe it when I see it. But this would be a very good way to introduce them.
I try to steer away from rumors, but this one is just so juicy and so right.
Well, hopefully it actually happens, because I've been dying for Thunderbolts to get a screen presence.
And we've got all the people appropriate, because at different versions of Thunderbolts have involved both Winter Soldier and U.S. Agent and Ghost from Ant-Man and the Wasp. So we've got something going on here. We just need to
pull Abomination out of the cobwebs.
Exactly. We need some more villains. We need some more living villains.
Yes.
MCU has got a really nasty habit of killing off their villains. So I'm kind of curious to see if that actually holds fruit, because damn if I want me some Thunderbolts action. Get some T-bolts. You have found something over there in the MODOK universe.
Yes. So first there is casting for the extended cast for Patton Oswalt's MODOK show, which I don't know if he's showrunning, but I know he's at least executive producing and starring in.
It sounds like something Patton Oswalt would do.
So Patton Oswalt is obviously playing MODOK,
which is the best casting ever.
Yes, he's got the big old noggin for it.
Yeah.
But his supporting cast is going to include Amy Garcia, who is in Lucifer, Ben Schwartz, Jean-Ralphio, delightful.
I love Jean-Ralphio.
Melissa Fumero.
The worst.
Melissa Fumero, who plays Amy on Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Yep. Beck Bennett from SNL, John Daly from Kroll Show, Sam Richardson, and Wendy McLandon in Covey, who I'm not familiar with those last two, but I really like this cast. Like, it is.
So I wonder what kind of characters we should expect from these.
From what I read, it's gonna be mostly MODOK's immediate family. Like Amy Garcia is playing MODOK's wife, Ben Schwartz is playing his son, Melissa Fumero is playing his daughter, and then like his coworkers. So
this is really just over the top crazy.
This is going to be a very goofy.
This is almost like The Vision, except with MODOK.
This is going to have more in common with like a MODOK Rain Delay than like MODOK's 11. Rain Delay was a very fun one shot during Dark Reign where MODOK goes to his high school reunion. There's a bit where MODOK tries to use a urinal and curses his short arms.
So from what I'm understanding, this is Hulu bound.
Yes.
And this, along with the other animated project they've got, which is Hit Monkey.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't know what Hit Monkey is, it's exactly what it sounds like. It's an old Deadpool supporting character, which is a small, I don't know, is it a gibbon? It's too small. He's
a snow monkey.
He's a snow monkey with guns. I think this is comedy gold.
Yeah, he's a funny character. I'm not a big fan of Daniel Way's Deadpool run, but I do like Hit Monkey because I love all 8 characters.
But in getting these 2 shows out, apparently Marvel Studios decided to put the kibosh on 3 different projects.
Yeah, 3 if you include Offenders. But yeah,
4 if you count Offenders. We got Howard the Duck, Tigra, Dazzler.
Tigra and Dazzler are one show.
Was it Tigra and Dazzler?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that one had been axed like a couple months ago when they lost the showrunners over creative differences. Mm-hmm. Then, I just found out today that Howard got canceled. And that really pissed me off because I was really excited for that. Out. Kevin Smith was gonna he was showrunning it.
And he made a big reveal of that on his podcast show.
That would have been super fun.
It really would have.
I've been waiting for I enjoy Howard's cameos in Guardians, and especially in Endgame, where he walks through a portal with a big ass gun.
Yeah, I actually found the scene that they was talking about right when you have Wasp in the foreground. He's like right behind her
with the Ravagers. Yeah. And I was really excited for this show, and they kind of just yanked the rug out from under because they did the same thing with Ghost Rider. They announced the show and then canceled before it even goes to production. I'm glad Son of Satan's happening, and I'm really excited for MODOK, but it's a damn shame the way these Hulu shows have been treated. Yeah,
I mean, we should start getting used to the disappointment. I mean, they did also kill Ghost Rider earlier, like you were saying. Dang.
Actually,
I want that to mean that they're taking Ghost Rider some more seriously and they're going to take him into feature film. But I do get let down when Marvel cancels stuff.
And kind of a similar thing of me discovering something I was very excited for getting canceled. DC has been silently canceling a lot of their trade paperback releases. I noticed this week when I was like, hey, when is Green Lantern Kyle Rayner Volume 3 supposed to come out? Because I've been picking up those trades. I've got all the singles, but I would like to be able to read them a bit easier than having to unbag and board my full run. And it had just been canceled with no fanfare. It was supposed to come out 2 weeks ago. And I've been and there's a bunch of other trades I was excited for. Like there's a new printing of Starman finally, and got the axe again. A bunch of their other omnibus collections also got the axe. Dan DiDio's talked about how they're restructuring their trade department. And it's just like, I don't know. It's frustrating to see.
That'd be sad if
all of these projects that I'm
killing omnibuses.
Yeah. Well, they're not killing them in total. They said that they're restructuring. And one of the big things they mentioned is they want to get rid of volume numbers, which is actually a move I agree with, because comics, I think one of the big hurdles of getting into comics is people seeing all of these big numbers and being like, oh, I have to read it from the beginning. It's like, no, especially for reprints of older material, you can generally jump into that stuff. And if one of the things they've already done is with some of their Justice League Bronze Age collections, they changed it so it's just named after the biggest story in there. Like I think what was going to be JLA the Bronze Age, like volume 3 or 4, turned into The Wedding of the Atom. And I was like, cool. It tells you what's in the book. It's not married to, so you don't have to feel like, oh, I don't want to just have volume 4 on my shelf.
Well, DC used to do that.
Yeah.
I mean, back when Secret Six was in trade paperbacks, I had to actually figure out which books coincided with which issues.
Yeah.
So I could figure out which ones I needed.
Which can be kind of a pain in the ass, but I mean, I like that better than I don't really like numbered trades. Because again, like if there's just one arc I want from a series, I don't like just having a volume 3 or 4. I'd rather just have the arc, you know?
Oh, no. I like the volume. I like the numbered thing because I am that guy that wants all the numbers. You can find it out
easy, though, because you can just look on the inside cover and see, oh, cool. Like this collects this number. And then, yeah.
It's tedious.
Yeah, but it's better than having, or even worse, when they change the system midway through the series. That's tacky.
Okay, yeah.
I like uniformity. I like being able to hand people a book and not have them be like, oh, I don't want to read this. Like it's number 4. I have to read all the others. I have to explain so many times to people who want to read Batman Death of the Family. Yes, it's volume 3. No, you don't have to read 1 and 2. You can just buy it's a standalone story.
Well, I guess I don't have the retail experience of having to explain that to scrubs.
Trade paperback minutia is one of my big passions in the comic industry, and how that section I think is completely mishandled.
Well,
Sorry for my rant there.
No, it's okay. You are forgiven for your rant. What else we got going on here?
A sequel to The Boys is happening in comic form, which it was frankly only a matter of time with how successful the show has been.
Yeah, so apparently season 2 is already in the can. We're already hearing season 3 getting planned out. So apparently Amazon's really happy with the way that's coming out.
I think it's been their highest rated show.
Has it?
It's something like that.
That's good to hear.
It was doing pretty bonkers numbers for them.
Oh, God. That heat vision kill. I know I've brought that up before, but that's some good stuff right there. So apparently this new sequel series is called The Boys Dear Becky. Now, if you're wondering who Becky is Billy Butcher's deceased or maybe not deceased
in the show
wife, depending if you're reading the comics or watching the show. This is a direct sequel of the Boys.
Takes place 12 years later.
Yeah, I don't want to give the ending away. I mean, if you really want to dig through all 90 issues of The Boys,
you shouldn't. The show's much better.
The show is really good. Now, I love the comic. The comic is so over the top. God, I really want to discuss the ending of the comic. I really, really do, but I feel like I'm doing a disservice.
Yeah.
So it takes 12 years after the original Boys ends, and I guess it's going to take somehow talk about Becky. Mm-hmm. I don't know how that's going to pull off.
Well, we'll see. I did appreciate Garth Ennis not directly stating that, yeah, they just backed up a truck full of money for me to get this. He says in like the announcements, like, I never thought I'd be revisiting the Boys universe again, and I thought I was done, but I was incentivized to return. And I was like,
yeah, it's like things have changed in the past 2 years. It's
I wonder what that could be.
Wow.
Jeff Bezos helicoptering in pallets of cash.
Yeah, so I wonder if this is going to go right back to DC, if DC's going to do this, or Boom is going to take it over.
It's going to still be Dynamite.
Oh, it's Dynamite. Thank you. Dynamite, Boom. That's what I think. If I'm not mistaken, Boom is owned by Disney.
I don't believe so.
Well, here's the thing. Dark Horse used to have Buffy the Vampire Slayer. 20th Century Fox got bought up by Disney. As soon as that happened, Dark Horse lost the Buffy license and it went right to Boom.
Yeah. Disney, I think they own Power Rangers now, don't they?
Yes.
Okay. And maybe. We'll see.
So I'm kind of curious. I mean, it stands to reason that Disney would at least own something outside of Marvel comic related.
Disney owns everything at this point.
Yeah. I'm still not a big fan of the Boom Buffy the Vampire Slayer. But that's just because I
actually started watching more Buffy this week now that I've knocked out a lot of my high priority show. I just saw the episode where it was the job fair one and Kendra's introduced. I already love Kendra. Think she's great.
Kendra the Vampire Slayer. You need to watch more Buffy and you need to talk to me about it because I will chew your ear off about the minutia of this show.
I'll give you buff dates every week.
I need to have buff dates. And you're going way too slow if you're in Kendra. Because that's what, season 2?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we'd taken a several months hiatus because too many damn shows came out.
Oh yeah, true. But man, there's so much good stuff. And season 2 is a great time.
Yeah, it's been very enjoyable. It's a very good background noise show because I don't have to like be obsessively focused on it. Like a lot like most other prestige TV of today.
So you've already seen School Hard, I'm assuming.
I don't remember what one that is.
That's Die Hard in a School, and that's the one where they introduced Spike.
Yeah, I saw that one.
I love School Hard.
That was a fun one.
Okay. Well, we're not going to get too derailed talking about Buffy Tough, but we're definitely going to be talking about this a little bit later on. So good news. We've been waiting on this. At least some of us have been waiting on this, but Captain Marvel 2 is finally getting the grease under the wheels to get started. We don't have a director yet, although I think that Marvel should stick to their guns and use female directors for these kinds of roles. Although, I wasn't really thrilled with Captain Marvel 1. I can say that now that I've had some time.
I still really like Captain Marvel 1. I haven't gotten to it yet on my MCU rewatch. I'm still in phase 2.
Captain Marvel 1 feels like a phase 1 movie, and it would have done great if it was a phase 1 movie. But
counterpoint, phase 1 movies are all great.
Well, I mean, they're great for their time and their limitations. And that's what Captain Marvel ran into is some pretty heavy limitations. There's some missed opportunities is what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
I will watch Thor Ragnarok over and over until my eyes bleed. I don't think I've seen Captain Marvel more than twice. And this is calling from a diehard Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
I was there day one. I was like, I really want to see this movie. I'm super excited about this movie. And while it did okay, it doesn't make me want to watch it again.
Yeah. I'm not really I don't rewatch movies super often. Like I still haven't rewatched Endgame.
Seriously?
Yeah. I saw it in theaters and I haven't rewatched it at home yet because I wanted to watch
rewatched.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought you hadn't seen it.
No.
We were about to end this show prematurely.
Of course I saw Endgame, but I haven't rewatched it on home video yet.
Okay. I've watched it a couple of times.
I'm going through an MCU rewatch, and honestly, like, I'll say this, most surprising thing is how much I liked Iron Man 3 better, stripped away from my 2012 expectations.
Yes.
It's
a Christmas movie.
Honestly, it's probably up until, well, it's got Winter Soldier right after it, but I was going to say it's the best movie at that point. Also, Avengers has not aged very well. I will say that. It is sluggish as hell. It's shot like a direct-to-DVD movie.
Oh, wow. That's heavy. That's not good.
Joss Whedon's weaknesses as a TV director really come into play in that movie.
You know, and I hate to admit defeat. And when I say admit defeat is when I point out the things that I love are not as great as they could be.
Yeah.
And I love Joss Whedon, as obviously being a Buffy fan. So talking about something that he's done, which is big and not so great,
I mean, it
can hurt.
It was great at the time. I saw Avengers like 5 times in theaters when it came out.
And I enjoyed Age of Ultron. I enjoyed Age of Ultron. I'm going to stand that ground. That's a hill I'm going to die on.
I got some strong feelings of Age of Ultron
it was one of the few moments where we actually had a nice isolated storyline. It was a straight off Avengers. There was no overarching thing. It was just, it's the Avengers and they're fighting Ultron. All the Avengers are there. You don't have any of their subplot minutia getting in the way of things. It's just, hey, let's meet up in this gazebo and do some action shots and beat the crap out of robots. Boom.
You say no subplots, but there's an entire 10 minutes where Thor goes off to a hot tub to watch all the other MCU movies to learn what the Infinity Stones are.
Because we all know that was the producers actually forced that scene into existence.
Doesn't make it any less stupid.
It was ridiculous. It's so completely out of left field. But that's
Thor's hot tub adventure.
Everybody's all talked about the fact that was shoehorned in.
Yeah. But we should talk. Actually, that's probably going to wrap it up on news.
Yeah, that does actually wrap it up. We kind of, you know what? We're going to talk about a wholesome moment.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to talk about a wholesome moment. Recently, Patrick Stewart was on The View to promote Star Trek Picard, of which I've seen the first episode.
I haven't yet. I'm very excited to watch it.
And I was excited to watch it too, because apparently it's a crap load of Romulans are in it. Oh. And the end of this episode has a great reveal that I will talk to you as soon as you see it.
Nice.
But he went to The View to do his interviews, and in the middle of everything, he officially gave Whoopi Goldberg the invitation to come to season 2.
Not for once, The View has brought me joy.
Yes,
that was really sweet.
It was not, hey, let's try to make this happen. It's like, no, my producer wants this to happen. I'm a producer. This is what we're doing. This is the official thing. Will you do it? I'm like, that's the
it's a very competitive field for how great Star Trek Next Generation characters are, but she really is one of the best of the bunch. Every episode she's in, it's a highlight.
Yeah, and she brought up during the show that she was the last original character created by Gene Roddenberry.
Yeah,
that's kind of cool.
It is.
So I liked Guinan. I liked the fact that when they went back in time, that they found Guinan back in 1800s and stuff like that. And she's like, you guys need to. It's like she's trying to pull a scam or something at the time when they catch her. It's like, y'all need to back up and stop talking to me like you know who I am. So I've always been kind of curious as to what that was all about. But hopefully maybe we can reveal
get some answers
of that.
in Picard.
Yeah, indeed. So I really dug Picard. I really enjoyed Brent Spiner's role in it.
I was really curious how they were going to pull that off.
Flashbacks and dream sequences so far. Well, I can tell you some of it because it's the very premise. It's the synopsis.
I have a very important question.
What is it?
Does he have the first contact ham slices on his face?
Does he have the first contact what?
When he gets the people parts, they look like ham slices left on his face.
No, he does not. So there was a short trek that they appeared on CBS called Children of Mars. The whole hook of this show is that while Picard was off trying to save the Romulans from the supernova that was going to destroy their planet, which he had to orchestrate by himself because Starfleet refused to do it until he pressured them into doing it. While that happened, the synthetics that had come to be, not data level synthetics, but synthetics that had been created since data had been introduced, rebelled and destroyed the shipyards in Mars. So that's the whole thing of Mars kind of looking like it's exploding, is because all the synthetics just kind of went and got into ships and started blowing up the shipyards. And so Starfleet outlawed synthetics.
Oh,
yeah. And there's a scene where, because Picard, I guess like presidents have their own libraries.
Mm-hmm.
Picard goes to his own archives in Boston, and they pull out a drawer where they keep B4 in his disassembled parts.
Huh.
Yeah. And I don't want to talk too much about it. There's a lot of talking about Data and his whole hook into this.
Data's my favorite.
Yeah. And they haven't spoken about why the Borg are involved in this just yet. But given that we're talking
they want money and people love the Borg.
Well, the fact that we're talking about synthetics and the fact that synthetics have been banned, I think that's what's going to bring in 709, Hugh, and all the other liberated Borgs.
Yeah. Well, that'll be really cool.
Yeah. I'm really excited to see where they go with this. The end of the episode was a great cliffhanger, and I'm really excited to see. As a matter of fact, that's like I said, as soon as you see that episode, I want to hear what your opinion is of that cliffhanger.
All this talk of synthetics reminds me actually of I really wish I could remember what the series was. It was a Star Trek anthology comic they did a year or two ago. And one of the arcs was a murder mystery on Captain Geordi's Enterprise and his crew of Datas.
That's weird.
Yeah, I read it and I really, really dug it. And now I need to remember what series that was, because I think you would really enjoy it.
I probably would.
It was just basically a series. I don't know if it was quite like a what if kind of thing, but it was dealing with like just creators doing balls to the wall crazy, their take on what they would want to see in a Star Trek story across all the different timelines.
Well, and in the show, they do talk about the fact they've never been able to perfect the positronic brain of Data. They've come close, and that's about it. I don't know if you saw the episode way back in the first or second season where Data had to go to trial to prove he was a sentient
classic
being.
Episode, yeah.
Do you remember
Measure of a Man?
Okay, do you know the doctor that opposed him going into Starfleet?
Not off the top of my head.
It's like some Marcos or Marco or something like that.
Polo.
Exactly. He's actually the guy that pushed forward all these synthetics into being.
Oh.
Because he's been trying to duplicate what Data is. Because even though he opposed Data...
Do they have the actor like in Picard?
No, he just spoken about.
Okay.
But even though he opposed Data, since Data is a logical being, he doesn't hold a grudge.
Mm-hmm.
So when everything was over, him and Data became friends, and he had like this back and forth as correspondence. And that's kind of some of the background that they were going into about how synthetics came to be. They're not as good as Data because, well, we just can't do it. And the only one we had is B4, who had an inferior complex, who failed. So, we're kind of stuck.
Well, we have certainly backloaded this episode with Star Trek talk.
We did. I love me some Star Trek. And I love this Picard, even though a lot of people have been freaking out about this. And people in the background of the production of this are going, oh, my God, this isn't going to work. Or I've seen a lot of people on YouTube basically poo-pooing this just because everyone wants to freak out about new stuff.
Well, all the reviews I've seen have been super positive, and people who I trust have said it's good, so I'm excited to dive into it. It's
a more solid lead-in than Discovery had, and I love me some Discovery. So I guess with that, we're going to kind of wrap it up here.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming in. As always, check us out on YouTube. You like what we did? Subscribe, hit the little bell. We're here every Tuesday. We have a Patreon site if you want to check out some of our content that didn't quite make it out for whatever reason.
Give us those sweet, sweet 5 stars on whatever podcasting app you use.
Yeah, exactly. A little bit of shout out to our guys in the background, our editor and photographer guy, Rob Estes over there in the corner, and our producer and director, Brooke Shelton, who brought this whole thing together.
Yeah.
Really excited. Thank you for making this happen for us. I'm really happy with this show.
Yeah, and we will see you guys next week.
See ya.
What's the big pause? I don't know. I've had him all my life.
Oh.